The Great Awakening, Unit 2 Research. Mud fossils or more understanding determines fossilization. What are mud fossils? Mud fossils are the fossilized remains of creatures, animals, people, and objects. They can also be created from the return of manufactured or processed materials back into raw materials. All geology may be a product, fossilization. In Genesis 6:4, it says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. And the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. I believe in the Bible, the giants they were talking about are these fossilized mud fossil giants, titan sized and possibly miles tall. Here you can see a giant sticking out of the earth. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the chin, and a smaller creature, which is, I believe, is a turtle. The giants mentioned in the Bible were, in my opinion, titans and would become fossilized. Alongside the titan giants were massive trees cut down by angels or some unknown force to shrink the firmament above us, suffocate any giants not killed by the great flood. These trees would have been miles tall. There's lots of evidence coming to light due to people questioning the narratives and the controllers and re examining what they were told. They want to tell you that on the left here was a geological formation, but we are now understanding that it was a giant tree that was cut down. On the right, you could see a town or a settlement built on top of a tree stump, all fossilized due to the water and electric charge from lightning or from God Himself. These are the main things needed for fossilization to occur: water or mud, and as an insulator and a conductor, and electricity to force the transition from one thing to another. Here you can see a creature, a cat type creature or something, and on the right you see a corpse. You can see the eyes. You can kind of see the mouth, the shoulder, the hand sticking out, but they all these things were killed and then they became fossilized. These giants were widespread and are easily found by expanding the ideas of what is possible. You can see two people climbing through the toes of a fossilized titan giant. If you can't see it, take a step back and you can really see the toenails and the foot. This wasn't carved or something, this was a giant creature that was fossilized. And from the fossilized biology into production of materials and then back into a fossilized type of material. Here you see a tank from World War II stuck in the mud and then slowly returned to the basic building blocks of our realm. Titan blood coagulated and was fossilized. This fossilized blood contains the transition metals that we use to build our civilization. The heavier the materials, the deeper they settle. So all materials in the earth, when you find a rich area of mining deposits, you're mining the blood from these fossilized titans. This is copper, iron, gold, aluminum, plutonium. All these metals are found within the blood during different types of chemical reactions. So you can see a vial, and as the blood coagulates and settles, the heavier stuff sinks to the bottom, and that's what we're mining. You can see a modern day mining operation where they're extracting these things from the earth. So, how does this work? In the human body and in all living things, systems are always giving and taking. This can be seen by changing blue blood rich in oxygen and into the red blood, cleaning out the waste and exchanging chemicals. This process is called nucleophilic substitution or invasion. This is a type of reaction that takes place when an electron rich nucleophile selectively attacks a positively charged atom inside of a molecule and replaces it with a living group by bonding with another, which is possibly charged. Positively charged. In other words, an outside force of transition metals swap places with the transition thing to form a balance as the electrons are discharged. An outside invading force substitutes one type of transition metals with another, which may or may not occur within the body. This can be with the mud, water, salt, along with other factors like heat, electricity, pressure, time, etc. All these things can result in a different type of fossil or different type of fossilization. How something died may also play a factor, because dying of natural causes is not the same as drowning or being burned or being frozen or even being tortured to death. We know a chemical reaction occurs within the body to create the chemical compound the elites value known as adrenochrome. Highly oxygenating the blood and combining it with adrenaline, the compound known as adrenochrome is formed. Different types of reaction from different made possible with electrons by substituting nucleophilic material and transitioning them throughout the body. Nucleophilic describes an affinity of a nucleophile to bond with a positively charged atom nuclei. Process of substituting nucleophilic material is how fossilization and petrification of biological material turns one functioning biological system into a fossil and creates the fossilization process. Here you see on the left, there is a monkey head that is soft tissue fossilized around the bone and everything fossilized around the earth during this event where they're buried or covered in dirt or water or whatever happens. On the right, you see a fossilized vril head, I believe it is. You can see the proboscis on the top of the right side of where the genetic material is transferred. Here you see this creature. I dug this head on the right out of my backyard. Very randomly, it was like it was meant to be. On the left side, you see a pig type creature. This is from the movie Willow. And I saw this from the movie Willow when the soldiers at the end are getting transformed into these pig creatures. And I immediately, that's exactly what I've got here. This pig type creature, you can see the pointed ear there. You can see a pig. You can see this pig man down in the bottom. But this giant creature, here's another shot of the ear pointed, wrapped around the back of the head because it was smashed into the earth or something at time of fossilization. But this giant head weighs 47 pounds. It's very heavy and it's very large. It's 3 times as big as a normal human-sized head. Here's the mouth. If you step back, you can kind of see the nostrils. The nostrils have a different kind of material in them, which looks like the ferrous iron oxide O2, which is the red blood. And in the mouth, there was lots of particulates and particles and stuff in the mouth. Here's another fossil I found. This looks to be a snake type head. Now, these could have been these Naga type creatures or these genetic experiments that the Nephilim were doing. Uh, Combining human DNA with animal DNA, but it is very apparently a head. It's got all the features of a head, eyes, nose, mouth, all that kind of stuff. Here's another creature. This is a snake type creature. You can see the eyes and the nose and the mouth of this snake creature. Here's another view of kind of what I'm seeing with the snake, and you can see the eyes and scales. When you get it wet, it really shines and you can really see the scales and the snake type features of it. Here's a giant fossilized person on a beach. Looks just like a rock, but when your perception changes, you see more and you're aware of more, and you start seeing these giants and things everywhere. Here's a giant lizard creature or reptilian thing or a snake or dinosaur or whatever you want to call it. There's a giant head of another type creature. Here's another fossilized titan, which is a whole giant mountain. And you can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. It looks like he's suffocating, gasping for air. This could have been due to drowning in the biblical flood, or that the trees were cut down and the oxygen levels were lowered, and these creatures couldn't breathe and were asphyxiated. giant head on the left, small guy right there, as you can kind of see the perceptions, and on the right, a massive mountain range of a Titan-sized giant. The farther back we go, the larger these giants become. And it really is kind of like a Gulliver's Travels type situation where different lands might have been different people, and there could be even way smaller ant-sized people in conjunction to us. We there might be secret things that we don't know hidden in forests and hidden all around that the government knows about and is not telling us. Here's another giant Native American looking type giant, but I mean, these things were miles tall. The trees were miles tall. And another reason people don't want to talk about these mud fossils is these mud fossils and giant creatures and people and stuff completely discount the theory that we're flying on a little planet flying through space. These things would have been miles tall and impossible on a globe spinning through space. Here's a snake creature, two snake creatures, and a camel type creature and a dog. I've got tons and tons of these pictures of mud fossils. I will do a part two. Here's another mud fossil type head where you can see in the back at the base of the jaw, it's worn away and you can see the teeth sticking through. The more people are aware of these mud fossils, the more they're going to go out in their backyards, look at the rocks around, look at the earth, look at the mountains around them, and we're just going to find more and more stuff proving this theory, proving the Bible, proving God, proving all this stuff that was told to us throughout time and mythology and stories and all this stuff. Here on the left side, you can see like a fossilized bird. Things about the size of a basketball, maybe a little bigger, but you can see where the beak goes in to the side of the face, and you can see the eyes. It's really apparent when you see these things and you get them wet. They really glisten and show what's going on. On the right side, you can see these turtle heads I found. The more seafaring these creatures are, the more likely they were fossilized due to the salty nature and the water being a conductor. The more you look, the more you see. The more you see, the more you find. I will make a part two, maybe even a part three, showing more of my finds and answering questions that viewers might have. You can find me in the lower left box on Twitter. While my Twitters are inactive, my Twitters get suspended an awful lot for telling the truth about this kind of stuff. And on the right, you can find me on Instagram, Mudfossil Research and Truth, and also Mudfossil Truth and Research. You can buy my book, information about mud fossils and all kinds of information that the controllers and the secret society people do not want you to understand or know. Great Awakening Unit 1, Timeline of Historical Events, and Great Awakening Unit 2, Continued Points of Study. There's a digital ebook, or you can buy both versions separately or together in one large version, which I would recommend. You can find me on YouTube at Mudfossil Research and Truth. I've already had one video taken down. You'll see why when you follow some of my other accounts, but I'm also on Rumble. This first video here is what was taken down. You can see why it has to do with the jabs and that kind of stuff. But you can find me at Modern American Gangster on Rumble. And also, you can find me on BitChute at Modern American Gangster and see my videos and see I've done a lot of research and connected a lot of dots. So please out, view my content, leave a like, follow, leave a comment, ask a question. I'm really good at trying to get back to questions with people. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.